Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Adam Matic TV. Yes, it has been a bit stop-start for me this summer. I've had loads going on, kids competition, sport-wise, and everything like that. All on Sundays, as always, just to get in the way of everything. The mix with the summer holidays, everything like that. Craziness at airports for everyone. The guys were just talking then off camera. It's mental everywhere in Europe right now. What? It's also mental in the transfer market for everybody else in the league, apart from Manchester United, it would seem. Got with me today on the show, we've got Saeed back as always. Saeed, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. All good, all good. Life's all good. Can't complain. And yeah, man, good to be back on the show, man. The Sunday show. Good to see you guys, man.
Yes. And we've got Ajax fanatic and Frenkie de Jong expert in the house today in David. David, how are you doing, my friend? Are you good?
Yeah, man, I'm really good. Really good. I got some interesting stuff going on at work, so it's been a little while. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah.
How is Amsterdam right now, Dave? What's happening down there, mate?
It's beautiful, man. The tourists are back, so it's a little bit tough to ride my bike down the street on a Saturday, but other than that, I love it here.
Hmm,
That's it. Same,
absolutely.
mate. You lost a bet. You lost a bet, mate. It looked like an
Yeah,
expensive meal the other night, pal. If you guys
yeah,
don't know what I'm talking about, just flick over to Saeed's channel and watch his latest vlog where he's had to
yeah.
fork out quite a bit because one of United's players let him down. But other than that, mate, looks like a eventful good week.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely, man. It's been an eventful week and whatnot. But nah, it's all good, man. It's all good. Next season, hopefully, we can have a few bets and maybe we can win. But listen, I don't know right now. We need ammunition, man. I need something to maybe bet on. Right now, I don't have anything to bet on. So give me something to bet on. But yeah.
Manchester
Other than that,
United
mate.
winning a trophy next season.
Oh,
There's a
mate.
bet for
Honestly,
you.
that would be, you know what, man? That would be an eventful one, man. United just to win a trophy, first time in
Anything.
6 years. Like it's crazy, you know. It's mad, yeah. Like people say, oh, signings or whatnot. What would you make you actually happy? I think just winning a trophy would make me happy. Like I genuinely do, man. Just win the Carabao Cup, FA Cup, something that could just lift the fans up and say, you know what, we won a cup. I think that would be. I think that's what the fan base needs at the minute because
Yeah.
it's not great, man. It's not great. I thought this Ten Hag would bring a bit of like positivity, but it's almost like it's when you've had the party now and it's time to crack on now. That's what it feels like right now as a United fan. We've had that little bit of party mode. Ten Hag, now it's like right, what are we doing now? Are we doing something here? Like let's make a move now. Let's bring some people in.
This is it. This is it. I mean, everyone knows I've been absolutely mega busy following everything going on with United on the United stands. I've been on today. I've been talking about the Frenkie de Jong. I said at the start of the show we've got a Frenkie de Jong fan in the house, living there over in Amsterdam right now. He knows the Ajax way. He knows it inside and out. This deal, going off many sources now, Dave, is getting close. It does take United a long time to get deals done, but Erik Ten Hag, what we know, is adamant that by hook or by crook, no matter how long it takes, we get Frenkie de Jong in to Manchester United. Watching United last season, mate, why is this important, Dave, that this player comes into Manchester United? What is he bringing in your eyes from what you know?
So the really interesting thing to me is when we talk about Frankie, especially among the United fan base, there's this weird argument going on where it's like, well, is he a CDM? Is he not a CDM? We need a CDM. Why aren't we buying a CDM? We're putting up all this cash for a guy who's not a CDM, and we've got so many midfielders. But we've been on your channel, and you guys have been on your own channels for years already talking about how we don't have a possession, we don't have a ball winner, and we don't have a possession holder who can then create. And that is Frenkie de Jong in a nutshell. In fact, he recently said on Dutch TV that he prefers to play for the Dutch national team rather than playing at Barcelona, even though he likes being at Barcelona, because he feels that he's in his more natural position. You know, they have him playing in a midfield three, and sometimes he's on the right, and sometimes he's on the left, and sometimes he's kind of pushing forward. But the comment that really stuck out to me was he said, and I quote, "I like to play the pass before the goal." Doesn't that sound like the player who's going to unlock Bruno?
It does indeed. It does indeed. Quick, I'm just going to get Saeed's opinion on this one, actually. But I just wanted to bring this one up because you've asked me this question twice. I don't know where it came from. I haven't had a season ticket for a few years. My latest one has been for 10 years. And the one before that was even longer. But you have kids, life changes, you adapt, and you go back again. And now this one is 10 years, my latest one. So, yeah, there's no reason for me to explain why. I've only had it for a short amount of time because I've had it a while. But Saeed, is this key from what Dave was saying there? Because I picked up on this on looking through stats and everything. Frenkie de Jong does play a different position for Holland, and he has done this season. He has done in the friendlies and the other competitive internationals this season as well. Is this key that not only are we getting this player in, but we are getting the manager in who knows Frankie's position? And does that then tell you exactly how United are going to play this season with Ten Hag in charge and the likes of his top target being Frenkie, and hopefully that comes through the door as well?
Yeah, absolutely. It's imperative, man. It's imperative that he gets de Jong, like David says there. It's so important. For me, I'm with David in terms of, midfield has been a very, very weak place. Man United getting bopped off the park, get the control of the midfield has been lost in there. Transition-wise, we've been poor because of lack of a player, midfield technician, a guy who dictates play, a guy who controls midfields. That's what we need. And I think for me, it's a perfect player for Ten Hag in that system. And I think it's a cultural change, because it's understanding that, right, who wants the ball, who's not afraid to keep the ball. You're looking at Michael Carrick, you're looking at certain players who come to football, Scholes, who come in and say, you know what, I'm not afraid to get this ball in tight spaces. I'm not afraid to kind of get the ball from the kind of center half position and get the ball moving, and let's play that risk element football. And I think that's one of them changes where he'll want people to express themselves. The people that are there, McTominay, Fred, Bruno, who keep losing the ball, no, it's about how you protect the ball and how you maneuver the ball and how you kind of use the ball in a positive way, not in a negative way. And it's just changing the idea of Old Trafford of we're not a team that sits back anymore. We're a team that's on the front foot, and we'll look to dictate and we'll look to control games. Like, there's always a possession period where a team has, Man United need to at home be 70%, not 50, not 40, not, it should be 70, 80, because you're at home. You should be the one that should be controlling the game. So I think it's a massive, there's a lot of impetus on de Jong, and that's where the worry is. If we don't get him, we're really screwed. So Man United have to go all out for this one. And let's hope, man. I think next week we're massive. Absolutely massive.
Yeah, I mean, on that, Dave, I've said it all along that once Frenkie de Jong is through the door, I do expect, I've said this on the United stand as well, I do expect other signings to come through, because Frenkie de Jong has worked in a system style set up at every club he's been to, including the international setup, like we said. There's a system there. He knows exactly how it works. There's no system at United, and he's dealing with McFred. So it's key that other acquisitions are made, Dave, isn't it? That, you know what, as good as Frenkie de Jong is, he's never played with anyone as bad as United's midfield. And this is where it's important that the rest of the recruitment carries on past Frenkie de Jong, because he isn't going to solve this on his own. There isn't enough quality players around him. It's not a one-man show. Yeah, he will bring his qualities, but we've seen it with many players, Dave. We've seen it with Bruno, good start, dropped off last season. So, I mean, you've only got the likes of Ronaldo who hold that quality and have got that standard, who know how to maintain themselves season in, season out. For me, I do believe that there's going to need to be a lot more. Do you feel like it needs to be within that midfield area around him, or can you see Donny coming back and playing a part in all of this as well?
So I think that's really interesting, because when Frenkie de Jong was at Ajax, it was usually him and Lasse Schöne as the two holding midfielders. And Schöne was actually the one who was pushing a little bit more forwards, and Frenkie would kind of tuck in between the two center backs. But I wouldn't call him a CDM per se. He's more of a box-to-box with a CDM leaning mentality. I think that you probably have another player, whether it's Donny, who did play in the midfield too under Ten Hag with Frenkie at Ajax, by the way. Not always, but there were times when it was the two of them as the two.
Question for you there as well,
CDMs.
Dave, mate, in terms of what you're just about to get into.
I'll get into that.
Because that's what he's asking. That's how it's going to be.
Yeah, so sometimes it was Shona and Frenkie, sometimes it was Donny and Frenkie. I think to answer your first question, Frenkie, in my mind, is the guy who Ten Hag is going to kind of build the whole squad around. They know each other like the back of their hands. They have the same mentality. They're both Dutch. They've been playing this same style forever together, whether that's when Ten Hag was before he came to Ajax and before Frenkie came to Ajax. The whole Dutch system is kind of built around the same thing, right? So conceptually, I think that it's a building block that's fundamental to what United's going to do under Ten Hag going forwards, and that speaks to this question that that one of the viewers just asked. The typical Dutch thing goes back to Cruyff always, right? It's the 4-3-3, it's the total football, it's moving around positionally. But in more recent years, the modern Dutch system is taking the 4-3-3, and in possession, it morphs into the 4-2-3-1 that we've been seeing at United, which is why I think that we actually might have the midfield players to slide someone in next to Frenkie, because, again, Frankie's the fundamental piece, right? So whether it's Donny next to him, whether it's McTominay next to him, and I'm not arguing in favor of that, what I'm saying is I think you have a piece somewhere in there that's going to find his footing and find the way because you have the stability of Frenkie next to him, right? In my opinion, it's more a question of what are we going to do on the back line, because Ten Hag likes to take his fullbacks and pinch them in. He likes one of them in possession to kind of turn into a CDM and push both of the center midfield forwards. Go back and look at what Ajax was doing this past season. Mazraoui winds up playing a central CDM role in possession, which requires the two center backs to push way out if you lose possession quickly. That's going to be a problem for specifically Harry, maybe a problem for Varane. I think less of a problem for Lindelof because he's just a little faster.
Yeah, I mean, Said, on that, mate, there, it's like Dave said, then this system requires a lot that United haven't got right now in the playing staff.
Yeah, that's it. You know what I mean? And that's what kind of worries me a little bit. But I've just got to trust Erik ten Hag. I've got to trust
Sorry.
Sorry,
you said
sorry. No. Erik ten Hag. I've got to trust what he's believing in. I'll be honest with you guys, man. I'm a bit worried about the idea of De Jong coming, but not a CDM coming. I don't know what that is. Maybe, I think Ailey Taylor said Kante would be the perfect option, but again, I don't think Chelsea would want to lose him without bringing someone in. I don't know. I think this is more a case of Ten Hag risking it. I generally do think, you know what? F you lot. I don't need a CDM. I'll just control games. If we get Eriksen, De Jong, and I would say Donny. Because I don't see Bruno in that option. I think Donny, Eriksen, and De Jong could work because then they could all interchange. They could all press. They could all dictate games. They might not be able to defensively, and in terms of physicality, they're not going to be great because they'll get bypassed that midfield. But in terms of dictating and controlling games, I think that's a perfect midfield blend. But this is it. I don't know what he's trying to do, and maybe that's good for fans to not maybe think that McTominay and De Jong is playing, or Fred and De Jong is playing. We want that element of surprise because, end of the day, we've not had that, and we've had the same old midfield for the last 2-3 years. So I'm excited, but I still believe we need more than just De Jong in there. I think we need about 2 or 3, but that's just my own opinion. I think we've lost Pogba. We don't know what kind of Donny we're getting, by the way, people. Excuse me. Donny's not been there for 2 years. He has to build his confidence up again. Then we've got Matic leaving, who we wanted for so many years. As much as we're excited for De Jong, we still need someone in there to complement him. So let's hope. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
No. I just want to touch on exactly what you said. In my opinion, is Donny good enough for United? Is Donny good enough for the Premier League? That remains to be seen.
Remains to be seen, yeah.
Totally remains to be seen. What I am absolutely 150 million% positive of is that next to Frenkie de Jong, with Erik ten Hag as your manager, you will get a better Donny than you have seen before.
Absolutely,
no question about it, right?
Okay.
He's so comfortable with these two guys. You're going to get a better Donny.
Is he going to be comfortable with a Christian Eriksen? Because this is the next sort of line of transfer speculation right now. The decision on its own is ludicrous that he has to choose between Brentford and Manchester United. I mean, I'm not saying that with any red-tinted glasses or any disrespect to Brentford, but if one of your managers and the manager that let you come back to Ajax to train through after having your operation, your heart operation, if that manager is saying, I want you in my team going forward on this new project, and I understand the connection he has got with Brentford and them taking him in as the first club back. But let's not forget, Erik Ten Hag was the one who took Eriksen under his wing and let him train with that Ajax team to come back to health as well and get fitness back. So there is a link there.
And he also played at Ajax.
He did. He originated from Ajax. I do remember him playing against United for Ajax in the Sir Alex Ferguson days. So
Europa League.
It was. It was a good. It was a good team then, nowhere near as good as what it is and what it has been under Ten Hag, in my opinion. But Eriksen is one of them players that looks after a ball. I see what Dave
and he's played a bit deeper,
there.
Adam. Yeah. He's played a bit deeper in Brentford's system.
Yeah.
This is a thing, isn't it, now? Because I see what Dave's saying. You'll get a different Donny with Frenkie in that team. But if you brought an Eriksen in, you've got system players running right through the span of your team there. But then does that cause an issue with the likes of Bruno? I mean, Dave, I'll come to you on this first, mate, because Bruno is erratic. He's a risk-taking player. He's a risk-taking player going to fit into an Erik Ten Hag system. Do you think he can mould him? Will he change Bruno? Or will he maybe move position of Bruno to make it fit this system?
I don't think Bruno's going to move position. I really don't. I think you're just going to, in my opinion, the issues that we see with Bruno, playing stupid balls, pushing when he shouldn't push, I think that that's mostly out of his frustration for not being delivered the ball where he wants it, because we don't have a central midfielder who can deliver him the ball where he wants it and when he wants it. Frenkie solves that. I just think you're going to wind up calming him down. And that's what I mean when I say I think Frenkie unlocks Bruno, because now you have a central holding midfielder who's a little bit more defensive minded, who's going to win the ball, who's going to hold the ball, who's not going to lose possession. And that allows Bruno to move forward and move into the space he wants to be in and receive the ball. Then he can play the ball in, whether it's across to Ronaldo, whether it's the overlaps. I think you're going to get the best out of Bruno with Frenkie behind him. So I don't think you're going to need to switch positions for Bruno. I think he's your 10 going forwards.
It's one of them. It's all about. It's how this Premier League is. It's not forgiving. That's the only problem, Dave. It's not forgiving, and that's the. And I feel like for me, I just want someone. I'm not saying a physical player because you got that in McTominay, but someone who's got that kind of, that kind
I don't even think he's got that, mate. To be,
there you go, exactly. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. He doesn't really use it as much, but I still want that powerhouse in there. Obviously, there was Basuma. We didn't go for him. But I think we need someone in there like a powerhouse that can also play. So people are saying Sangari. I think he's a perfect option. Maybe a Bruno Neves in there that can maybe help out in there as well. I just want someone in there that can help De Jong, because I'm not trying to compare it to Paul Pogba, but there was a weight on Paul Pogba's shoulders that he had to do everything all at once, and we don't want another player coming in and doing the same thing, having to defend. And then it's like when we see De Jong getting outnumbered or maybe pressed in there, and then he gets bullied off the ball. It's like, what's going on here? Where's he playing in the 6? What's going on? So I just want to see, some sort of like help there.
He needs an outlet. There's no question about that. Again, can Donny be that outlet? Donny loves to play the 1-1-2, quick move off the ball. Can he be that guy? Yes. Is he good enough? Remains to be seen. But I still think Frenkie holding the ball in the midfield, he's not going to give the ball away. Like that, I think that's the thing that people who watch mostly Premier League football aren't seeing about Frenkie yet, and you will soon. which is the most exciting part.
Yeah.
He doesn't give the ball away. He just keeps the ball. So it's a win.
That is what you want. Lee, cheers for that super chat, mate. Bruno definitely was a number 8 at Sporting. He was. I made that point at the very start. And he has played more in that role through, like Dave said, his frustrations of not getting the ball more. And this is where the positional discipline has been lacking. Because he doesn't trust the rest of the team. He then drops deeper. Then we've got no system. We've got no style of play as such because of that. Because we haven't got the links. Pieces are all over the place, and there's no one telling these players, and there's no leadership. All comes together as a big problem. And then when everyone's hands are in the air, wondering what's going on, well, I just say, oh, well, there it is. Your positional discipline is shocking at Manchester United. It really is.
Do you not think there's a problem? Mate. I was going to say, do you not think there's a problem of Fred and McTominay being there? Because when you look at it now, if we do bring Eriksen, right, like I'm struggling to understand Fred and McTominay just being on the bench. Like I know it's a depth game, but I've just got this feeling that they are part of the plans if we're not buying another midfielder. So if we don't buy a number 6, it will be a Fred and McTominay with, or Donny van der Beek with, or Eriksen with, and find that balance.
This comes down to the next question, which is the formation and the system that he inputs into this team. Because, say for instance, Donny comes back and we go 4-3-3. There's no room for Bruno in that front three, so Bruno has to be part of the three with Donny and Frenkie. Then, like Dave said, it adapts and morphs into the 4-2-3-1 system, where would Bruno then come away from that three and form a more attacking team, which is more press, I would say more of a press style team. But then you'd have to have the forward line, which would have that in them, would then have that game after game after game, that fitness to do that, and what Ten Hag demands. Fred, to answer that question, I think Ralph Rangnick getting the best out of Fred last year is a problem for Fred. Because Fred's best position was further forward, and he's not going to fit into Erik Ten Hag as a forward-thinking player, in my opinion. He's not good enough on the ball. I do believe he has got that press sort of capability element, but he's not good enough, I don't think, for what Ten Hag wants. And I would love to be proved different on that one. If Ten Hag can make a player out of Fred, I'll be the happiest Manchester United fan alive. I think he's honest. I just don't think Scott McTominay is. I think Scott McTominay thinks he's something that he's not. And there's an arrogance about Scott McTominay, which everyone knows I personally do not like. And I just think this club has fed him the story of how good he really is, that he's just nowhere near the truth. And that's what
they've tried to project him as a
they have. He thinks he's better than what he is. And another thing, I'm just going to bring this up, Dave, I'm going to bring this on to you now. Paul Pogba officially leaving next week. Get the bunting out, get the celebrations out. Frenkie de Jong is not a replacement for Paul Pogba. No. Let's just get that clear. To every United fan. No United fan is thinking that this is a replacement for Pogba, because Pogba, I can't remember the last time he played in a central midfield position controlling a game for Manchester United.
No.
It did not work. That's key, isn't it, Dave? Frenkie is not a Pogba, he's a different player.
No, 100%. Are there similarities in the deal to get Frenkie and the deal to get Pogba? Yes, of course. But there's not a similarity in the players. And it's funny that you say that, because I also see a lot of people, especially on Twitter, talking about, this De Jong deal stinks of Di Maria. I need to address this, okay? Di Maria has character issues, and everybody knows that. He had character issues before he came to United. He's had character issues since he left United. He's not maybe what we would call a really good person. Frenkie de Jong is one of the best human beings in football. For example, he's been with his girlfriend since they were like 15 years old. He doesn't go out and party. He's not a drinker. He's just a good boy.
Just to sing it, I was getting Wayne Rooney vibes there, and then you said he doesn't go out and party. He doesn't get into. I was like, okay, forget it now. Forget the Rooney comparison.
I just think it's really important that people understand this, because there's no comparison to the Di Maria deal either. Are we bringing a player in who preferred to stay where he was? Yes, and I understand the similarities there, but the major difference, of course, is that Di Maria has character issues and Frenkie de Jong is a really, really, really good person. So I think that hopefully that clears it up for some people.
Yes, that is it. Interesting super chat here, Said, from Lee again. Cheers for that, Lee, mate. Ten Hag plays a higher line, so may not need a CDM. Have eights in Bruno, Donny, and De Jong in the middle. Control the midfield. It's like you were saying, Said, from the start. Are we going to try and control the game more rather than contain, like under Ole, under Ranić as such?
Yeah.
We have had to do with the current playing staff. But that, for me, only comes with more action in the transfer market. Do you agree on that, or do you think there's personnel there already?
Nah, no personnel. Nah. Honestly, we need fresh blood. We need people who will understand the system like quickly. I think Lisandro Martinez could have been that one. I think other players could have been that one. But I think Ten Hag is very, very specific on players. Maybe he's going to look at the pre-season as a method. Maybe he's going to look at training. Apparently they trained today, they're training tomorrow. So maybe he'll look at that and be like, nah, McTominay, nah, not for me.
6 pre-season games as well, mate.
6 pre-season games as well. The transfer window does close in September the 1st. So, he has got about 9 weeks or so, 10 weeks or so to sort that out. But the thing is, for me, the more you leave it hanging, the more the price goes up. The more you leave it hanging, the less clubs want to sell. You know what I mean? They're not going to want to give.
The more you leave it hanging, the less players are going to be available.
Well, there you go. And that's the bottom line. And for me, this is where the problem is that if we were to bring in a player along, say we don't get Eriksen now, that's one more player that we don't have, or we're not going to go and get. And then it's like, right, what version of Donny we're going to get, and will Donny ever be good enough? So then, hence, if we're looking like that, who can we bring in to kind of replace that and maybe bring in some more added quality? So for me, I think it's got to be personnel. As much as Ten Hag's system is great, you still need players to complement it. And Pep Guardiola's shown that at Man City. People can say Pep Guardiola is a genius, but you do need to spend players to achieve your goal. And he has done that. And hence why they've been so good, trophy-wise. I'm not saying he's not a great coach. He's an unbelievable coach. But you still need players of quality to do it. Jack Grealish, 100 million. Hasn't played for Man City, but next season he might see the best of Jack Grealish. Haaland, Alvarez, you've got to do it. Haaland, Alvarez, bang. Go win that Champions League now. And they'll do it because at the end of the day, Calvin Phillips, you've got to just,
This is it. I do agree in terms of City, and it takes time, like you said, Say. He's going to need games. So this is why the fan base needs to be patient with Erik Ten Hag. I said this earlier on today on the United Stand show. I said, the good thing that we have got is the 6 games in pre-season, and we've got 6 games in August before the transfer window shuts. It's a weird season. Let's not forget, we're going to have a lot of games to look at. 12, in fact, if you count all them league games before this window shuts now. So he's going to see what these players, Dave, have got mentally. I've said this before, and I'm going to bring you up on a couple of players now currently here. I'm happy with Rashford posting videos, looking fit and doing that, but I read an article this morning and I brought it up on the show about Ten Hag works on the brain more than anything else. He'll make these players run fast, but he'll make them run fast with the ball. He makes you think more rather than going into this comfort zone of a training session. If you're going to run with the ball. It's part of it. And this all comes down to that possession-based and taking control of a game style that he has got. Is that not? Would that be something that you would say is definitely right from what you've seen and how these Ajax teams, especially under Ten Hag, would play? Every player comfortable on the ball, can carry the ball, and are fit enough to get that ball back as soon as necessary.
It's 100% accurate. Part of that we have to understand, of course, is because in the Dutch league, Ajax playing against Willem II, Groningen, these are small teams that are going to sit back and try to absorb pressure. And of course, Ajax is going to in turn have to play a possession game. I think that Ten Hag's style will morph a little bit in the Premier League just based on the fact that he's not going to come up against so many opponents that are going to play him that way. So you're going to need a little bit more press. You're going to need a little bit more ability to absorb pressure. And that's where I think that morphing of the 4-3-3 into the 4-2-3-1 and back into the 4-3-3 is going to become really important. But I think he's able to do that. It's because of what you said, Adam. He's so cerebral. He's such a mental coach. And the way, I mean, to me, the best example is what Ajax did in the Champions League this past season. This was not the best version of Ajax that we've seen in the last 5 years or so, right? The 18-19 season was just ridiculous. This year's Ajax team won 6 Champions League games on the bounce. What? That's madness. And the only way you can accomplish that is by instilling in your players the sense of trust amongst themselves and the sense of trust in each individual. And he's just a master at that.
Yeah, I think there's a few people agreeing with you
Absolutely.
on that there. I mean, Said, mate, in terms of these players that are here right now, I'm looking at the dead certs. Transfers can happen and we don't know what's going to be around the corner, but Rashford, Martial, I brought this up and I asked people on Instagram Live this week if there was any players that you think could turn around a really poor season. Now, it's pretty much nearly every single United player that needs to do that, but are there any characters for you that you think could, from what Dave's just explained, what I said before, could fit this mold and could change and make it work?
I think with Fred, I think there's elements of this game that I think will suit what Ten Hag wants in terms of maybe aggressive style of play. I think, you know, in terms of winning the ball back quickly in the opposition half. I think I'm looking at Sancho kicking on next season. I think the European element of Ten Hag in terms of the Dutch league and the fact that maybe Sancho has maybe played in the Champions League, I think Ten Hag will find that ability, and I think he will understand that it's not all about running. It's about movement. It's about, you know, possession. It's about close control, close touch. You know what I mean? All that kind of, you know, possession-based football that you want to see. I think Sancho's got that. I'm interested to see what happens with Ronaldo. Obviously, I don't know if we're going to discuss it a little bit, but I just look at their defense. I'm not sure. I'm still a bit worried, but I think maybe Maguire, if, and I mean, this is a massive if there's a confidence, take the captaincy off him, but then also have that ability to, like, say, you know, we're not going to do crazy stuff. We're going to know when to shift in. We're going to know when to kind of press. We're not going to get caught in no man's land, which has happened a lot. You know, so I want that kind of confidence of the defense to say, right, we're going to do things differently now. And hopefully we're going to be better structurally defensive-wise. So I'm looking at the defense as well. And then that's and then obviously what he does with Donny van de Beek's going to be interesting. And Bruno, who he gives that position to, whether it's one or the other. And also Bruno in terms of making sure the bad habits go away and he's more effective and he's more kind of careful and mindful of what he does in terms of the ball. Because transition-wise, Man United have been the worst in the Premier League, and that's come from Bruno. It's come from other players where they're just giving the ball away, and then we're on the back foot. And we can blame the defense all we want, but there's a reason why they're in that mess all the time. Is because we're losing a ball higher up the pitch, or even sometimes in the middle of the park, and it's a quick transition and they're in. So I think ultimately it's letting players believe in themselves more and understanding that, you know what, when Man United, you play for the biggest club in the world. And act like it. Don't act like you're a victim and you're kind of almost like saying, well, I need some time to bed in. Oh, you know, I've had the captaincy role. Things have happened in the past. England this, England that. I think hopefully Ten Hag doesn't give a shit what you do for England. What you do for Man United is what counts the most. Yeah, there you go. Exactly. None of that stuff. That's exactly that. You know what I mean? And put his stats up. You know what I mean? Let's hope that there's no egos in the dressing room.
And that's it. I mean, Dave, going to you, Ronaldo in all of this, key for Ten Hag in terms of that mentality side of thing?
100%. I mean, I have no idea if they've spoken, if they knew each other before Ten Hag came. My guess is, you know, tertiarily, they probably come across each other at some point. Whether they have a close relationship, I doubt it. But what I know about Ten Hag and what everybody knows about Ronaldo, they have the same mentality. They're about winning football games. They're about playing football the right way. The interesting thing to me is that as Ronaldo gets a little bit older and maybe, you know, the legs aren't there, and of course he can't play on the wing anymore like he used to, he becomes somewhat of a target man. Yeah. Kind of, whether that's at the top of the box or whether that's pushing up to the penalty spot, he becomes that kind of target man. And exactly. So you've got that Haller role already filled out for you. I think Ten Hag's going to walk into the dressing room and be like, all right, we're good on that bit. I think, like Saeed said, you're going to see a significantly improved Sancho out of this whole thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Again, going back, my biggest concern is Maguire. Maguire succeeds at England because they play such a line all the way back almost to the goal line, and Maguire doesn't have to really move forward.
And he's got
Ten Hag's going to want a high line. I don't know how
he's lucky. Yeah, he's lucky he's got two of the best defensive midfielders in the league in front of him as well every game.
Right.
So
that high line, I'm sure Ten Hag will adjust something because I don't know.
David De Gea?
David maybe, but then Henderson
got to change.
Yeah, it's got to change because I'll tell you what, Old Trafford's a big picture. When you make a mistake, I remember the game against Newcastle starting the season. I think it was Maguire stepped in. I think someone made a mistake. Maguire stepped in, and we were on the back foot, and they were 1-1. I know we came in the game back again, but there was so many times where we would step in, and then oh my god, we're literally on the back foot, and luckily David De Gea's kept us in it or something. So. People say Maguire's not going to play, but I can't see an 85 million defender on the bench. Honestly, I just can't.
Unless they do stay true to their word and give Ten Hag the power that he wants. Because I said before, the biggest power, it's not in the transfer market. It's not in terms of what players leave the football club. It's the training ground. Ten Hag needs everything on that training ground. And that means he decides from there where his system works and who works best in it. We've got two defenders there that don't get a kick of the ball in Phil Jones and Eric Bayer. I'm sure every United fan would have loved to have seen them two play a few of the games this season. Yeah, Phil Jones, he is what he is. He's just that. He's like that cult, whatever cult sort of status you want to give him in at United. He's just one of them anomalies, isn't he? He's Phil Jones.
He's like an Oasis B-side.
Yeah. But honestly, right now, I would say, I bet if we put a poll up with United fans, there'd be very close debate. It might not even be close between Harry Maguire and Phil Jones. I think Phil Jones, you could say, yeah, because a lot of United fans really hate Harry Maguire. But I think it'd be close at least. If people would pick Phil Jones. But Dave, Eric Bayer, quick, aggressive, gets a bit too crazy on the ball, yes. But is there a player there that could work in that high line? Because there's a man I know, and I've seen him take care of one of the quickest players in the league on his day in Jamie Vardy, and never give Jamie Vardy a kick. And that's what Jamie Vardy thrives on, that over-the-top ball. We're going to get that against a lot of teams if Ten Hag persists with the high line. So can you see that? I mean, it's said that he's on the transfer market. Whether there's an issue behind the scenes, there has to be something whereby because he doesn't get games for anyone. People are saying Axel, we've got Mengi to come back. There's players there that we just don't know, Dave. That's the sad thing, mate. We just don't know because they've not been given a chance. And that's like I said, this comes down to Ten Hag getting full power because if he comes in and sees pre-season, Eric Bailly has a good pre-season, he's fit, then he needs to be given that power to say Eric starts ahead of Harry Maguire and starts alongside Rafael Varane maybe. I'd love to see that partnership. I don't think I ever will, but that comes down to what Ten Hag's got in terms of that power on that training ground, mate, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's really interesting. I don't know if you guys saw this. Maybe it was only in the Dutch news, but before the Ten Hag appointment was official, there was, what was it, like 2 weeks or 3 weeks there where it was like, oh, it's going to happen, but it's not signed yet. Right? Everybody was talking about the timing. And Ten Hag said something really interesting. He said, I'm detail oriented and I don't sign paperwork in my personal or my professional life unless I'm happy with all of the tiny little details. I think we all know what he's talking about there. And if it's true, then we're going to see real soon because he's going to make these decisions on the hoof and it's not going to be a problem. If it's going to be, I hope there's a lot of upset players. Me too. But if United hoodwinked him, which they're prone to do, we'll also find that out really quickly.
I mean, Saeed, mate, that defense there, As far as I know, we've got 5 centre-backs. We've got Menge and Axel both also coming back off loans. 7 centre-backs.
7, yeah. It's a lot.
Is there anything in there that... is there anything in there that can work under Ten Hag? Have we got anything that can actually fit into this high line? Is there anyone you can see can fit that high line style football?
You would argue it would be Varane and Bailly, you know what I mean? Again, both similar in terms of, I think Varane is quick. I think you got Bailly who's almost aggressive. He's very tenacious. He's someone that is willing to kind of make sure that he's always first to the ball. I think he's a live wire. I think that would be the ideal kind of partnership. But then you've got Lindelof and Maguire. It's funny. It's the same thing with midfield, Adam, guys. That I don't know what's going on with the midfield and the defense, because if you then choose Maguire and Lindelof, Varane and Bailly are on the bench. There's got to be at least 2 centre backs that are going to be leaving the football club. Whether we find that in the pre-season or not, or whether Ten Hag, it'd be interesting to see, guys. I don't know what you think here. Whether Ten Hag says you're not in my plans after, let's say, after a few training sessions, he says, you know what, you guys are not in my plans, and he may do that because at the end of the day, he did see the last game of the season, guys. We're forgetting that Ten Hag watched the last game of the season. He probably watched clips, and he's giving everyone the time of day off. He's saying, guys, go and get married. Go out there, go do whatever you got to do. I don't want you worried about anything. But when you do come back, I'm just going to let you know that you're not in my squad. You're not in my plans. And that is final. So you've got now 10 weeks to go find that club. And I don't think he would have conversed that with Myrtle, because I think then you would see links in the press saying Bailly's been subject to kind of being left out. Fred, whoever it may be, it could be Rashford. But now you'll find out who is not playing the football club. Because you got to remember Ahmad's there. You got to remember Palestri's there. These guys all want to play. They want to impress. So it's almost like I don't know, like when you get kicked off the X Factor or something. You know what I mean? In the last stages where you find out, you know, that what is it, like best of 6? What is it called? Them 6 chairs where they find out who's going to go on the 6 chairs, and the next thing you know, you've got 3 or 4 waiting. So we're going to find out, man, and that's the beauty of it. Which 2 defenders are going to give me the trust, and which 3 on the bench? Because you said Adam, there's 7. So it'll be interesting to see who actually is going.
That's it. I mean, they have to go. There's talk, and Keno's in the house as well. Good to hear from you, Keen, mate. Fullback, Dave, is another key area because Ten Hag's fullbacks are pivotal to his whole system. They are the ones, I think, are going to be key in that Haller/Ronaldo role. It's the actual not getting Ronaldo frustrated with the actual balls he's getting. He needs feeding constantly. And for Ronaldo to stay and be disciplined in that position, I think it's going to be key that we get the right players to actually feed him. I mean, Luke Shaw, along with Telles, we've got Fernandes coming through from the under-23s. I think left back for this season, we've got enough. But right back, Dave, we've got a bit of a problem. I mean, I've touted Mukiele from RB Leipzig a few times on different shows with United Stand. I think with 1 year left on his deal, 15 million. Can also play at centre-back. He's a good shout. I thought if we'd have kept Ralf Rangnick, that RB Leipzig connection might have worked out well for us there. And there's possibly, you could bring Lamar into that as well. But fullbacks, like Keane said there, why haven't we been linked with a fullback? That is a scary thought because there's talk that Palace are back in for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. And we know we can't rely on Dalot for a whole season. We're talking a 60-game season here, Dave. We need squad depth, 5 players on the bench. I think Dalot is a good number 2 from what I've seen personally. But we need another right back, mate, do we not?
Yeah, there it is in the comments. Dumfries is the one they've been linked with on the right.
There is a lot of stories regarding, and TJ's just brought this up as well. Someone else did before as well.
Is that true? Is that true? I've not seen that.
It might be. So a few people have brought it up now. So if anyone can double check that, I'll have a quick look or whatever there. But
yeah, let me check.
There are rumours Pereira is going to Fulham, which is good news, I would say. Very good news. But fullbacks, Dave.
We sold someone. Hey.
Another one. Oh, we actually got money for him.
Hey. I keep hearing rumors about Dumfries. I like that. I saw some tweets today about Tagliafico. It concerns me.
I'm not sure about that one.
I'm not sure either. But
did he not get dropped for Blind?
No, he did.
Oh, here you go. You're going to get Dave riled now. We're bringing Blind into the conversation.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
He did get dropped for Blind, but it was because they were playing youngsters at center back, and Ten Hag felt like he needed a stabilizing force, and Tagliafico's not a leader type. So there were some different reasons for that. Whether it's valid or not, I don't know. But I've heard different reasons. At any rate, it concerns me that all the things that we keep getting linked with, well, Timber's off, so let's go for Martinez. Oh, now we're to talk Tagliafico, Antony. It's all Ajax players. And that's not a Ten Hag issue to me. That's a Manchester United issue, because clearly that means that their scouting department has either come to Ten Hag and said, here's what we've got, and he'd said, that's all bollocks, or they just don't have anything to show him in the first place, which is even scarier.
This is what concerns me, mate. It's like, why have we got scouts? Is Ten Hag going to do everything? Do we have to ask Ten Hag about every single Ajax player, or can we actually do our job and find another player from somewhere else?
You know what? That's the uncomfortable. That's an uncomfortable question, Adam, that a lot of people are not talking about. Why? I get we have to do what the manager wants, and it's better to do it. But you're leaving yourself a lot at risk. Because David, does the Ajax manager want to lose all of his players? He's lost Mazraoui.
He said no already.
Well, this is part of the problem, is that if it's good that we have 6 preseason games, because that gives Ten Hag the opportunity to come in and look at all 7 center backs and decide if he needs 1 or 2 or 3, right? The problem that you're going to run into is Ajax isn't a buying team. Ajax doesn't have the ability, like a huge club, to take 50 or 60 for Antony and then go buy somebody else real fast. They need to be sorted out well in advance of the season starting. So the sooner we get to kickoff of the new season, the less likely you are to buy anyone from Ajax, because they're just going to shut up shop and say, no, you're not buying anyone.
There you go. And if they lose Martinez, Antony, Mazraoui,
it's not happening.
And that's the problem. And we do need a right winger. I get
this. Has Haller gone as well? Has Haller gone as well? Did I hear?
Yeah, Haller's gone to Dortmund.
Haller's already gone as well. I need to Dortmund. So you just
they're getting Bergwijn. They're getting Bergwijn, so that could be an issue. But
well, that's supposedly Bergwijn is the Antony replacement, and it's kind of like the idea is that if they sell Antony, Bergwijn is the like for like.
Okay.
They don't have that for a center back. That's the problem.
This is the common theme, isn't it, running through all of this? Because you look at the players, we've got Timber, Martinez, we're looking at Frenkie de Jong, ex-Ajax. Let's not, obviously, Antony, like as I said then. But what else we're missing is the other links, Matthias de Ligt. I'm like, get off this page of Ajax, please, someone, please. Even though it's at another club, it's still Ajax, But then you go to Eriksen, and it's another Ajax. I'm like, all right, come on. Why don't you just have a backbone and actually admit that you're trying to copy a blueprint of a well-run football club? The arrogance of
UKFC. Ajax UKFC.
It's like something from what was the game, the old football game, when they made the names up a little bit? What was it called when they didn't have the copyrights? Or
Pro Evo.
Pro Evolution Soccer. Yes. Manchester.
Because Reds. You know what it is. It's the first time. Does that not show you that Ten Hag doesn't trust the board to go and get players for him? Is that not trust? Is that
maybe it is?
Yeah,
I think he would have trusted someone like Ralph Rangnick.
Well, there you go.
But this is what I'm saying. It could be that. It could also be that whatever they've got, right, all of the scouting reports and all the players that they've been working on, they may have just brought those to Ten Hag, and Ten Hag has looked at it and be like, "Are you kidding me? Get this out of here. Get out of my office."
Yeah, that is it. Pro Evo was good. It was good. It was better than FIFA in the day anyway. FIFA had to adapt to keep up. Obviously, last 10 minutes of the show, guys. Get any questions in you want as well also. But Dave, just wanted to get your opinion on Antony. I have a bit of a fear factor with South American players in Manchester United. It sends shivers down my spine. It's like we cannot get that South American link with Manchester United. And people say, Yeah, Romero, Raphael, players like that who really didn't have an issue at United. He just weren't that type of player. But this is a big signing. Every time we go big, South American, doesn't tend to work very well, Dave. What has Antony got different? Is he one player that will change that mold, in your opinion, from what you've watched with Ajax last season?
Antony to United worries me on every level.
Okay, that's what I didn't want to hear, but that's why I asked the question.
But I'll tell you why. But I'll tell maybe not for the reasons that would appear obvious. I think he is exceptionally skilled and exceptionally talented. He's the kind of player that he's not two-footed. Let's be really blunt about that. You're playing him off the right. You're not going to get him to whip a cross in from his right foot. He has to cut back and then put the cross in on his left. He's very adept at that. He's fast. He has tricks out the wazoo. I don't know that he's ready for the Premier League. I think that we're all of us, Ajax, Manchester United, the fans of both clubs, are better suited with him staying put for another season, improving himself, maturing a little bit, and then making the move. And I think that next summer, United's going to be in a great position to get him no matter what. It may be more expensive next summer, given, but I think you're getting a more ready player at that point. I don't know that he's ready for this big of a leap.
Mm-hmm.
You know what it is with the Antony? That is a good point in terms of people are saying they're a bit skeptical of the change from the Premier League, so the Dutch league to the Premier League. I think only Ten Hag will know that, and also I don't know if it's as strong as links as people say in terms of does Ten Hag actually want? Maybe when you talk about it, I think the strong links were Timber and De Jong. I don't know still about this Antony, whether well and truly Man United do want him, or is it just a case of they're admiring him like they always do with players? You know what I mean? They always admire players from above, but you know, you have got Ahmad in there. You've got a lot on that right hand side when there's not really a lot, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Ten Hag, I can confirm that Ten Hag loves Antony.
Yeah,
no question about it. They went out and plucked him out of, I don't even know what club he came out of, but it was a small club in South America in Brazil. They plucked him out of there 2 or 3 years ago when David Neres started to fall off.
Yeah,
and all of a sudden, Ten Hag put him under his wing and just poof, great.
Wow.
But I really don't think he's ready for this leap. I think it's too big for him. He is the type of player that can change a game by himself, but he's ready to do it in the Premier League.
Is there a forward out there? Yeah. Is there a forward out there, or should we be waiting? Like you said, Saeed, mate.
Well, you don't know what Ronaldo, mate. I'm starting to get worried about this Ronaldo because
we have been told we have been told today that this whole meeting with Mendes was regarding other players, and the conversation came up, and everyone jumped on the bandwagon that it was Ronaldo's agent, and the conversation was there because Lukaku had left. But Ronaldo is not going to Chelsea. I think that's categoric.
No. I hope he don't go to Chelsea because that's almost strengthening another rival.
1 year, no matter what, Saeed, isn't it? Though he's only got 1 more year left, so that's what you got to get used to, isn't it?
Yeah, 1 more year. But like I said, with that one, I still believe we do need a little striker just in case anything happens with him. And also, you're not going to play one striker all year. I don't know what version of Martial you're going to get. I personally think his days are numbered at Old Trafford. I think his in terms of we got I thought I was breaking news somewhere, but like I said to you, I think it's just one of those situations where we do need a little striker, whether it's a kind of a versatile striker that can play across the front three, maybe mold into that role. Maybe we can play 2 up top. We'll see, but there's it's crazy here. It's so broken, this squad, that you would think that Rangnick was right that we needed 10 players. He wasn't exaggerating the point that we needed like 7 or 8 players or whatever it took, because there's so many holes in the squad. If you're going to change a different style of football, you do need 2 or 3. If you're going to play defensive, you're going to need better defenders. If you're going to play fullbacks bombing on forward and playing this high pressing game, you're going to need better fullbacks. So everywhere on the pitch, you do need added, strength. But again, it's just whether Man United see fit. Where do Man United see a priority? Right now, it is De Jong. But again, hopefully next week we'll get him done, because we need to move on from De Jong and move into other positions where we need more help, because this top 4 race, I'll be honest with you guys, man, I personally don't think Man United are making top 4 next season. I just think there's a lot to go on for Man United's kind of jump to be top 4. We had a lot of problems last season, and I just can't forget them. I think Man United will be a lot more improved, but I think Arsenal have strengthened now. They got Jesus now. They're going to get Rafinha. They've got in a couple of other players. You got Tottenham in there with Antonio Conte. You've also got Chelsea, who, I don't know what's going to go on with them. But
he's come out and said that Chelsea will buy 6 players before the transfer window closes.
Oh, did he say that?
He said that personally. Now where what's his name? His name runs past me, Dave. Sorry, remind me.
Todd Bowley.
Todd Bowley, that's the one.
Yeah.
He is now officially the owner, the CEO, the director of football, the hot dog stand attendant, the kit man, the everything. He's put himself forward to do absolutely everything, which is mental, and that will change in time. But he has come out, and I don't know if it's bold or is it stupid, but he's come out and said that Chelsea will sign 6 players this summer. So what 6 they are? I'd be worried as a United fan, because they could literally come in on any targets that we look at any time. So United do need to get a move on. We are hearing that Frenkie's going to be this week because of the financial situation, and the accounts in Spain need to be in by the 30th of June, and all that needs to be sorted. That's been lingering around for a while, but it is a fact. It does have to happen in Spain. So maybe we will see something this week with that. And then past that, there are a lot of other players and noises coming out. United will actually be bringing players in. I still don't agree with it. One deal holding up the rest of all the other deals. But I do think that midfield is key. Ten Hag doesn't need to look at anyone in this squad to know that he needs Frenkie. He does need to look at a lot of the rest of this squad, because it is a massive squad. And the players being back in training now is a positive. I said that this morning. We're actually going to start hearing from Ten Hag now. We're going to start hearing things rather than guessing. So it'd be interesting to see how he answers questions on the transfer window, because he's not been asked that yet. We've already had that comfortable first day where he went smiling and handshaking with everyone. But going off what, like Dave said, what I've read, and what a lot of other people have said, that persona is about to change with Ten Hag, because it's game time. And one thing we do know from what we've discussed and what other people are saying is he's on the ball with everything. He leaves no stone unturned, and his attention to detail is second to none. So here we go, but in a different here we go sense. A lot of players, I think, will be shitting themselves personally in that United squad right now.
Good.
And I think the proverbial will be hitting the fan within the next few weeks. But that pretty much sums up today's show, everyone. Just want to say massive thanks for Dave and all his Ajax and Frenkie inputs. It's been on point and right on the button, mate. And Saeed as well. Cheers, mate.
Big up, man. Anytime, mate. Big up to everybody.
Dave, just give the people a shout out to your socials. What's coming up and what you're planning on, and what's up on there. What's coming up next for you, mate?
Yeah, you can find my personal, especially given today's conversation, at Frenkie de Jong. And nice. I also run the Stadiums France account. We've got some campaigns coming up for some charity programs with Watford coming up in a couple of weeks, and a couple of other ones that I cannot mention just yet.
That's it. It's good. Guys, do check out Dave's Stadium France channel, and what he actually does is ridiculous. There's a talent there. There really is. There really is. And he is. Don't be fooled by the American accent. He is living in Amsterdam. He is there.
Let me leave you with this. Be friendly with your American football supporters. Just don't let them run your football clubs.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Couldn't put it any better, mate. Couldn't put it any better. Saeed, mate. What's up next, mate? Vlogs.
Everything, man.
Pre-season's coming, mate.
Pre-season's coming. Hopefully, the next 10 days or so, we'll get pre-season football. But no, I'm Saeed TV right there, people. I'll be going live in about 15 minutes, so come check us out. We got Andy Tate, a couple others involved. So yeah, man, we're just going to be talking United, and we'll just see what happens next week. Hopefully next week, I keep saying this every time, Adam, but hopefully next week we've got someone to talk about, a player.
That's it. That is it. Hopefully you are right on that one, mate.
Yeah,
that's all I'll say. It will happen. Players will be coming through the door. I'm just looking forward to seeing Ten Hag now in action. I think that's what every United fan wants now. June has been painful. July is going to be very interesting, so stay tuned, everybody. I'm not going to lie, shitloads coming up, and I will announce all of it when the time is right. But just stay tuned because there's a lot going on. Now, trust me on this one. I will obviously keep you posted on what's happening. You catch me on the United Stand as well through the week, as always, and hit us all up on our socials as well. Mine are running across the bottom there. Obviously, you've got Saeed's on screen and Dave's on screen as well. Cheers for watching, everybody. Like, share, and subscribe to Adam Matters TV. We are out of here for now. Enjoy what's left of the weekend, and we'll see you through the week, everyone.